the blaze right now. Everybody's wondering what is really going on with Angel Reese. Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you gotta be, hold on, you have to have some level of self-awareness here.
Angel Reese is making headlines again, and not for the reasons she wants. Reports claim the Chicago Sky have taken legal action against their supposed franchise star, and fans are calling it the final straw in a season full of drama. How did one of the league's most hyped rookies go from center stage to completely vanishing when her team needed her most? This isn't just about one bad night, or even one season. It's a pattern that's followed Reese everywhere she's played, and the lawsuit is just the spark that set the whole thing on fire. Angel Reese hasn't just been struggling, she's been missing. Reports suggest she flat out refused to travel with her team during crucial road games, including the highly anticipated showdown against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. That's not just any matchup, that's the WNBA's biggest ticket right now, the game that every fan had circled. And where was Reese? Not on the court, not even on the bench, nowhere. What makes it sting even more is what happened without her. Chicago suddenly looked sharper, the ball zipped around the floor, players cut harder, and the energy picked up. For once, the offense wasn't slowed down by forcing the ball into one player. Guards ran the sets the right way, the wings found open looks, and the team actually looked alive. Fans immediately pointed it out online. Some even joked that Reese's absence was the best addition the Sky had made all year. And the numbers back it up. With her off the floor, the Sky have posted quicker possessions, tighter spacing, and better results, especially against a Fever squad that's owned them for 2 seasons straight. That's the painful truth. Her absence made them look more connected, more fluid, more like a team fighting for something. For a player once billed as the franchise cornerstone, this is devastating. The same woman who was supposed to be the leader, the culture setter, the one pushing her teammates forward, instead became the reason fans started asking if the Sky were better off without her. On social media, the phrase "missing in action" isn't just a figure of speech, it's the narrative taking over. And that's the real problem. This isn't just a bad look, it's a pattern, one that's followed her from college to unrivaled to now the WNBA. Every time the stakes rise, Angel Reese seems to vanish. And as we'll see, this disappearance act didn't start in Chicago, it's been building for years. If this season feels familiar, that's because it is. Angel Reese has built a reputation for walking away right when the pressure hits hardest. Fans first noticed it during her rookie campaign, when she was locked in a tight Rookie of the Year battle with Caitlin Clark. For months, the storyline was electric. Reese versus Clark, the new rivalry the league desperately needed. But the moment Clark pulled ahead, Reese suddenly went down with a season-ending wrist injury. No farewell, no fight to the finish, just silence and an early exit. Then came the unrivaled league, a new chance to prove herself on a fresh stage. For someone who branded herself as a competitor, you'd think this was the perfect spotlight. But once again, the story played out the same way. Mid-season, she claimed an injury and disappeared. She didn't just skip games, she ghosted her entire team during the championship. The rest of the squad went on to win without her, while Reese was nowhere to be found. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were baffled. How do you sell yourself as a franchise player, then vanish on the night your team makes history? By the time she landed in Chicago, the questions were already swirling. Does Angel Reese have the durability and mentality to lead a team? And unfortunately, every season since has only fed into those doubts. This isn't a single bad year. It isn't one unlucky injury. It's a pattern, a cycle of bailing out just before the finish line. And now, here we are again. New season, new excuse. Same ending. The Chicago Sky are left to pick up the pieces while their so-called star disappears into the shadows. But this time, the excuse she's leaning on is even more convenient and a whole lot harder to prove. Officially, Angel Reese has been listed as day-to-day with a back injury since the All-Star break. Sounds simple enough, right? Except here's the problem. Day-to-day usually means a player tweaks something, sits out a game or two, and then returns with a clear update. But in Reese's case, the updates never came. No timeline, no progress reports, not even a whisper of "she's practicing again" or "we'll reevaluate in 2 weeks." Just complete silence. And fans aren't buying it. In most cases, even the smallest ankle sprain comes with weekly reports. Probable, questionable, or doubtful slapped on the game sheet. With Reese, it's like her file got erased. She's in some kind of injury witness protection program, hiding in plain sight while the season crumbles around her team. The timing is what really makes people suspicious. Back injuries are the perfect cover. They're real, yes, but they're also impossible to prove wrong. If a player says it hurts today, there's no tests, no scans, fan, no way to argue it. You can't call them out without looking heartless. And for Reese, this couldn't have been more convenient. The team was losing, the pressure was mounting, and suddenly she had the one excuse nobody could question. But here's where it gets worse. Fans started comparing her situation to Caitlin Clark's groin injury. Clark had an actual in-game moment where everyone saw the injury happen. She's been rehabbing in the open, still traveling with her team, still suiting up in warm-ups, still cheering from the sidelines. Meanwhile, Reese can't even put on sweats and sit courtside. The contrast is brutal, and the optics are career-killing. For someone branded as the face of the Chicago Sky, disappearing behind a mysterious day-to-day injury has become less of a medical concern and more of a running joke. And fans are asking the question the franchise refuses to touch. Is this really about her health, or is it about something much bigger? If Angel Reese's absence looks bad on its own, it looks disastrous when you place it next to Caitlin Clark. Clark suffered a legitimate groin injury. Fans saw the exact moment it happened on the court. Since then, she hasn't been able to play every game. But here's the difference. She still shows up. She travels with the team, sits on the bench in warm-ups, and leans in during timeouts to help break down plays. Even hurt, Clark finds ways to lead. Now compare that to Reese. Chicago's biggest rivalry right now is with the Indiana Fever, a matchup that's basically the WNBA's hottest ticket. And yet, when the Sky traveled for their showdown against Clark and the Fever, Reese didn't even make the trip. Not to play, not to sit on the bench, not to clap for her teammates. Nothing. Fans were stunned. This was the moment for her to prove she cared, even if she couldn't be on the floor, and she chose to vanish instead. The optics couldn't be worse. On one side, you have Caitlin Clark, injured but still embodying leadership, resilience, and commitment. On the other side, you have Angel Reese, absent, disengaged, and seemingly uninterested in supporting her team. Fans see the contrast, sponsors see it, the league sees it, and every time Reese skips another game, the comparison grows louder. At this point, it's not even about the injury anymore. It's about effort, image, and leadership. And right now, Reese is failing on all three fronts. The only question is, how much more damage can her reputation take before it's completely beyond repair? At this point, the conversation around Angel Reese has gone beyond basketball. It's no longer just about whether she's hurt. It's about how she looks while she's hurt. And the truth is, the optics are brutal. Fans aren't seeing rehab videos. They're not getting updates from the team. They're not even catching glimpses of her on the bench. All they see is a star player who vanishes when her team needs her most. And the internet doesn't let that slide. Every skipped game, every no-show appearance, every quiet injury report gets magnified online. Social media is roasting her with memes, threads, and brutal side-by-side comparisons to Caitlin Clark. Phrases like career suicide, face of quitting, and MIA Reese have been trending in comment sections. For someone who once prided herself on being the villain, it seems she's lost control of her own narrative. But this isn't just about fan perception. It's a nightmare for the Chicago Sky as a franchise. When your supposed centerpiece is sitting at home while lawsuits pile up and the standings collapse, you can't sell tickets, you can't market the brand, and you can't convince fans that the future is worth believing in. The one thing every franchise player must do, keep hope alive. Reese has failed to deliver. Sponsors too are watching closely. The WNBA has fought hard to market its stars as role models, as leaders, as the faces of growth, and right now, Reese looks like the opposite. Instead of building her brand, she's torching it. Instead of proving she can carry a franchise, she's becoming the poster child for instability. And this is where the spiral really begins. Because when the perception of a player shifts from superstar to liability, it's almost impossible to get it back. And for Reese, the clock is ticking. When a player disappears this often, people start asking bigger questions. And with Angel Reese, the whispers are growing louder by the day. Is this really about an injury? Or is she quietly forcing her way out of Chicago? Rumors online suggest that Reese may already be eyeing a trade, or at the very least, sending a message to the front office that she's no longer invested. The silence around her status only fuels that speculation. No updates, no appearances, no signs of commitment. It all looks less like bad luck and more like someone mentally checking out of a franchise. And honestly, can you blame the speculation? The Sky are sitting at the bottom of the standings, lawsuits are hanging over the team, and their supposed leader is nowhere to be found. Fans are left wondering if Reese sees the writing on the wall and is simply choosing not to go down with the ship. Some even believe this injury is just a smokescreen while her future gets sorted behind closed doors. But here's the catch. Even if a trade is the plan, this kind of behavior doesn't exactly raise her value. Other teams are watching too. They see the disappearing acts, the mid-season exits, the PR disasters, and while Reese might be trying to position herself for a fresh start, she's also leaving behind a trail of doubt that could follow her anywhere she goes. For the Sky, it's a lose-lose situation. If she stays, they're stuck with a player fans don't trust. If they move her, they risk losing the one piece they tried to build their brand around. Either way, the damage has already been done, and the season isn't even over yet. At some point, you have to stop calling it bad luck and start calling it what it is, a pattern. This isn't the first time Angel Reese has checked out, and it probably won't be the last. 3 years, 3 seasons, 3 suspicious exits. Different excuses, same outcome. First it was the wrist, then it was unrivaled, now it's the back. Every time the standings get ugly, every time the pressure rises, Reese seems to find the exit door. It's almost predictable now. The Sky hit a losing streak, the season starts slipping away, and suddenly Reese is sidelined with a mysterious injury. No updates, no timetable, just gone. Fans are beginning to say you can set your calendar by it. The minute Chicago starts sinking, Angel Reese starts hurting. And the truth is, that's devastating for her reputation. A franchise player is supposed to fight through adversity, not vanish at the first sign of trouble. A leader is supposed to stand tall when things go wrong, not disappear and leave teammates carrying the load. Instead, Reese has become a punchline, proof that when the going gets tough, she gets going in the opposite direction. The saddest part? This isn't just about one team anymore. This is about a career that's getting defined by inconsistency and absence. Because once the label of quitter sticks, it's almost impossible to shake off. And if Reese doesn't change the narrative fast, she risks being remembered less for her talent and more for the way she always walked away. At this point, the story of Angel Reese isn't about one injury or one season. It's about a reputation that's slipping through her fingers, lawsuits circling the franchise, a team that often looks better without her, a fan base that's lost patience, and a player once hyped as the face of the future, now branded as the face of disappearing acts. The question now is simple. How much longer can this go on? If she stays in Chicago, the tension between her and the team only grows. If she pushes for a trade, her baggage follows her into the next locker room. And if this pattern continues, it won't matter where she plays. Her name will be tied to quitting, not competing. For Angel Reese, the clock is ticking. Either she finds a way to rewrite the story, or the story will write itself without her. Fans are already asking, is this the end of her run with the Sky, or is this the beginning of the end of her WNBA career altogether? One thing's for sure, everybody's watching, and every game she skips, every update she avoids only adds fuel to the fire.